Cats. This is Shane Whitcup at University of Recreation. I'm your health coordinator here at Recreation. This is my intern, Patrick Lee. Today we're going to be troubleshooting the squat. Squat is a primary exercise that a lot of exercisers like to use in their programming. Today I'm going to show you how anybody can learn how to squat and squat correctly without hurting themselves, okay? Go ahead and sit down, Patrick. What we're going to do today is we're going to teach the squat from the bottom up. Okay, so what I want you to do, Patrick, is to put your feet slightly wider than shoulder width apart, toes slightly out. Now this is the first thing that you need to do. All right, Patrick, I want you to keep your knees tracking over your pinky toe. Now the reason that I want Patrick to track his knees over his pinky toe, because if I allow him to track his knees over his big toe, that'll allow his knees to cave in, okay? Now that puts a lot of stress on the medial structures of the knee. So the ligaments on the inside and the middle of his knee. So we do not want that. So I want him to pull his knees out over his pinky toe or his second toe. Okay, the second thing I want Patrick for you to do is to lean forward, keeping your back nice and straight, okay? Wiggle your toes, okay, and stand up. All right, good. The reason I wanted Patrick to wiggle his toes is because I want his weight to be shifted back on his heels, okay? If I can keep Patrick's weight shifted back on his heels, that's going to activate a lot of the muscles on the back side of his legs, all right? Primarily his glutes and a little bit of his hamstring in the bottom, okay? Now, a typical problem that people have in the squat is they have a tendency to unhinge their knees first, so go ahead and give me that, okay? If the first joint that you unlock is your knees, that means your knee is going to carry the majority of the stress and the muscles on the front. Okay, go ahead and stand up. A lot of people quit exercising because they end up hurt. Okay, now some of that is because they're doing too much too fast, and some of that is because they're exercising with incorrect technique. Okay. What I want Patrick to do on the way back is first push your hips back, unhinge your hips, pull your knees apart, go ahead and have a seat. Knees apart, good job. All right, knees tracking over pinky toes, wiggle your toes. All right, go ahead and stand up. Good. Hips are back, knees are apart. Hips are back, knees are apart. Go ahead and sit down. Good. All right, now that's the first progression I use when I'm teaching a beginner squatting, okay? Now the reason we use the bench is to keep people safe, all right? And it also gives you proprioceptive feedback, all right? Now the next thing that I'll do is I'll load the exercise, okay? So this is a kettlebell. We're gonna have Patrick do what's called a goblet squat, where he's gonna hold this weight out in front of him, okay? Go hold that out in front of you. All right, good. I want you to track your knees over your pinky toes, lean forward, keep that back nice and straight, look at your toes, stand up. Good. Hips are back, knees are apart. Go ahead and sit down. And up. Knees apart, hips back down. Good. Go ahead and relax. Now Patrick has done brilliantly well, right? Squatting from the box up with no weight and with a kettlebell, all right? So I would move him on to the next progression, okay? So Patrick, go ahead and come here. Now people, a lot of times, have trouble keeping their knees behind their toes, okay? So what you can do is you can use a bench, just like this one, to give people proprioceptive feedback so they know if their knees are getting close to the fronts of their toes, all right? So if you put them up against the bench, all right, and you coach them, hips back, knees apart, all right, the bench will let them know if their knees are getting too close to the front of their toes. So Patrick, can I have you go ahead and get set up in your squat right there? Feet a little bit narrower. Okay, hips apart, or hips back, knees apart, go ahead and squat down. Good, and back up. Good, knees apart, and back, go ahead. And up, relax. Now you'll see me giving only one or two cues, okay? If you give people too many cues, you get what's called paralysis by analysis. They end up thinking about it too much, all right? So keep your cues simple, your coaching cues simple and effective, all right? What's the most important thing? Okay. Patrick's done well enough. We can move him on to loading this exercise, all right? So, hips are back, knees are apart. Go ahead and squat down and up. Again. Good. Now, if Patrick's knees start hitting that bench, he knows he's got to adjust his movement, shift his weight a little bit further back, all right? That's basic troubleshooting of the squat pattern. We'll get into more advanced stuff in later weeks. Wildcats, have a great day.